Within this video, we're going to talk about how you can actually use the web remote control to control a lot of things inside of the Unreal Engine. And we'll talk about the prerequisites that you're actually going to need to get this up and running. And just to give you an example of what you can actually do, let's go ahead and take a look at my phone right here. And you can see that I can actually change the light color here just by tapping on it. And I can actually scroll down here a little bit and I can actually change the intensity as well. So this is a technique that is actually used inside of virtual production all the time. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look and see how this is done. One of the prerequisites that you're going to need is the NodeJS application. Now I'll leave a direct link to the version that you're going to need, but the documentation, I definitely want to point out, notes that you need a very specific version of this. I'm going to go ahead and leave the link to this 14 version down below. So you can click on that, go ahead and get it installed, and then once that's set up, we'll move on to the Unreal Engine. The other prerequisites that we need to turn on are a couple of plugins inside of the Unreal Engine. So to get to them, we'll just go up here into our settings, up here in the top right, and underneath settings, we'll just come down here into plugins. And in here, go ahead and just search for remote control. And the two that we're looking for are the remote control API and the remote control web interface. So go ahead and just toggle these ones on. They will give you a warning that these are in beta. That's fine. We'll just click the yes on that one and yes on this one. And at this point, we're going to go ahead and reset the engine. Now this will only take a moment. So go ahead and just reset it and then meet me back here in the next part of our video. Now that we've got everything turned on and ready to go, we just need to create a remote control preset that's actually going to help us interface with whatever it is that we want to control within the Unreal Engine. So to do that, let's go ahead and open up our content drawer down here in the bottom left and right click. And what we're searching for is within our miscellaneous. And we're going to come down here to the remote control preset. Now go ahead and just give this a name. I'm just going to go name this my preset. Now once we have this made, we want to go ahead and just open it up immediately. I'll just double click on it and we get a new little interface. Now this interface is basically going to be the list of things that we can actually change, whether it's location, rotation, scale, light color, and manipulate functions. We can do just about anything inside of here. So one thing I definitely want to point out before we get too far is this button right here. This is going to be really important because this is how you are going to interface or be able to control the Unreal Engine through something like your phone or your web browser if it is actually on this computer. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and just click on this, and this is our remote control settings. So once I click on this, what you'll see is that I actually get the project settings to open up. Now if you're curious to where this is, if you scroll way down at the bottom, you will find one that says remote control. Now, the important thing about this is this spot right here. So this is our web control interface HTT port. So this 30,000 is what we're going to want to remember here in a little bit. Now, while we're here, I do want to talk about one other little preset, and that exists down here inside of our UPD messaging. So inside of here, we have this unicast endpoint. Now this is the actual IP address for this computer. So if I want to control what's going on inside of the Unreal Engine, say from a tablet or a mobile device of any sort, I need to know what this is. And I need to be able to connect to this locally. So if you're in the same room and you're using the same Wi-Fi, connecting to the same router, then you're good to go. So just kind of keep that in mind. Okay, with all that technical jargon out of the way, let's go ahead and start adding things in here because this is where the fun begins. For this example, I'm going to go ahead and use what I had in the beginning of the video and manipulate a light. So we need a light. So let's go up here to our place actors here and go ahead and just type in point. And let's go just grab a point light. I'm just going to drag and put this over here into the corner. Now, with this object selected and with this open, you will notice that over here on the far right-hand corner of our details, we have a whole bunch of just little ellipses. If they're not there, make sure that you have this actually open. Little gotcha. So what I want to do is just scroll down here until I get something like our intensity. Just left mouse click on this expand right here, and I'm going to say expose property. And that will instantly be added to our little list of things we can control over here. Let's go ahead and just do the color too, because that's also kind of fun. It's right there. Duh. Click on that and go ahead and do that one. So cool. Now we have these actually ready to go. Now at this point, I'm going to go ahead and use my computer and the web browser that's on this computer to control this as opposed to using my phone, but I will talk about that in a little bit. So to get the web browser to actually open up to these controls, all I have to do is actually just click this little button right here. So I'll just click that. Now you're going to be greeted with a completely blank page, and that's fine because we haven't added anything to this control section. So let's click up here on the control section to change this to design section. And you can see we have this my preset. This will be named whatever it is that you named it. And with this one selected, go ahead and click on the properties section right here. And if I click on this, you'll see that we now have that intensity in that light color. So we want to add these over. So I can just click and drag these over here and let go. And we are given a slider just like you'd seen before. And with a light picker, I can just click and drag this over here. And now my light picker is in here. Now you can customize these a lot of different ways. I'm not going to go into all of them. However, if you select something like the light intensity here on the left, you can change it from being a slider to something like a dial. That could be very helpful. The color picker really only has like one other kind of widget, but there are quite a few of them in here, and you can see that we have other widgets, and you can actually go through and organize these with different tabs as well. So you'll have tabs up here at the top. So if you want to customize this, please do make it as user-friendly for the people that you're going to be working with as much as possible. So now let's go ahead and see how this is actually going to be controlling stuff inside of the Unreal Engine. And to see this in action, we definitely want to make sure that we are not onto the design. Let's go ahead and click that back to control. And I'm going to go ahead and just move this off to the right-hand side and dock this one on the left. So I don't even have to have this light selected, actually. I can just have nothing selected. And this light now I can control with the intensity here, which is pretty cool. And I can go ahead and just change this light as is, like so. So this is how we can control it within the same computer. But what if we want to actually control this from another computer or from maybe something like a tablet? One of the prerequisites of actually controlling the Unreal Engine through an external device is that you need to be connected to the actual same Wi-Fi that the computer is connected to. So once you have that actually set up, this is how you can actually control this. So we're going to come back into our content browser specifically just to open up the My Preset, because it's just a little bit faster to get to what we need. Once that's open, go ahead and click on the little gears up here in the top right-hand corner of the interface right here. And in here, what we're going to want to know is this number right here. So we need the 30,000. And then if we scroll all the way down, we're going to come back down into our UDP messaging. And this one right here, our unicast endpoint. If you go ahead and open this up, the last one in here will be the IP address of your machine. So what you'll need to do is to type in this value. So in my case, it's 192.168.0.31 : then type in the 30,000 or whatever it happens to be that you end up using here inside of your remote control HTT port. That will allow you to actually control the Unreal Engine from your mobile device. So case in point, let me go ahead and pause the video here real quick and I'll get it all set up and I'll show you what I mean. All right, so with my phone in hand, I'm just gonna take my cursor and just leave it right here. And you can see I have nothing actually selected, and you can watch that little light and you can actually see it change colors, right? Because I'm using my phone to control this. And turn that down, there we go. Turn it back up. So there you go. Now you know how to go ahead and download the NodeJS application, get it up and running, turn on all of the prerequisite pieces, and actually control the Unreal Engine from a remote location. Again, this is fantastic for virtual production. It's also kind of a really cool party trick as well. So if you have any other questions, comments, concerns, or confusion you need cleared up so that you can continue to create, go ahead and just leave a comment down below and I'll get back to you when I can.